can. I'd like to thank our good friend Roy Reed and Robbie Monk and all the people who are here up in the area. I'd like to say to all of you, I am to be here. Your treasurer, Kate Marshall, thank you very much. I think it's amazing. I was told that some people travel all night long to come to this convention. And I haven't seen excitement like this in my lifetime in the Democratic Party. We got close in 1992, and we were pretty fired up about 40 years ago. But we can win in November, and America needs the Democrats to win. Everywhere I go, there are record numbers of people voting, record numbers of people participating, record numbers of people giving. And they reflect this incredible hunger in America to turn the economy around, to bring the Iraq War to an end, and restore America's standing in the world for peace and freedom. Obviously, I have a preference in this Congress. I think it's important that as Democrats we act like Democrats. Make the difference is clear on the issues, whether it's energy or health care or no child left behind or how to handle Iran or whatever they are. Talk about our solutions.
Put the sign
and then make it absolutely clear that once everyone has voted and once all the votes are counted, we are going to be united because our differences with Senator McCain and the Republicans are too profound to prevent this election to do anything but result in a victory for the ordinary American to the best government. One of the things that this long and arduous and hard-fought campaign has done for me as an American citizen is to give me the opportunity to get out there in small places and talk to people and be reminded every single day of how desperately this country needs a new direction. You know, you only have to meet a few people talking to you about the jobs they've lost, the children who don't have health care. I met a single mother with 6 children who had lost her job, who said that she had to have the Democrats back in there because she wanted all her kids to have health care and she wanted to go back to college so she could make a decent living for her children. I met a woman the other day who had a severely disabled child who was obviously born with some sort of neurological problem with tears in her eyes, telling me that her husband had a good independent trucking business. They made enough money to buy a health care policy, but he'd gone broke because of exploding energy prices. Now he was a contract truck driver. He said, of course, the company he works for can't insure us because look at our daughter, we have a pre-existing condition. She said, you know, we've got to have a change in this country. What am I supposed to do? She said, my husband and I can eat now at risk of our daughter's lives. Or we could go on welfare and starve so she could get a doctor. She said, I want somebody in the White House who will give health care to all Americans and treat working families differently. And yet, I can tell you, I see these people everywhere. And a lot of the old arguments that people have used against us, they're not working anymore. The other party used to say they're the family values party. Americans now know family values means being able to have a job to support your children, being able to give them health care, being able to send them to college, being able to avoid being foreclosed on if you can make your mortgage payment.
Being able to cheat on your wife.
This is a real reality.
Sorry.
I'm not sure that we Democrats fully appreciate the opportunity we have to unite people across all these lines that divide us. because for the first time in American history, well, modern American history, since the far right took control of the Republican Party back in the late 70s, from 2001 until the Democrats won the Congress in 2006, it was the first time America ever got to see what they would do if they got to turn their words into policies. They saw it. They've seen it on the budget, adding $4 trillion to the debt. They've seen it in tax policy, giving tax credits, cuts to the biggest, richest Americans, when 90% of the benefits in this decade went to the top 10% of the American people. 1% went to the top 1% of the American people, got 43% of the economic benefits of this decade. Our country used to attack Latin American dictatorships for that kind of inequality. That's why we've only had 5 million jobs in this decade after having 22.7 million in the 8 years before. Nevada, thank you very much, gave me the opportunity to serve. Everything your grandmother told you about the Republicans turned out to be true. And look, you cannot run a middle-class country without shared prosperity, and you cannot have shared prosperity if 1% of the people are getting 43% of the benefits, and in turn have 5 tax cuts thrown at them, and enormous amounts of tax money are given to the most well-connected interest groups. We have got to give America back to its people again. They will make a better future if they're in power to do so. The truth is, whatever y'all were arguing about when I got here, I don't really understand it.
Notice
but I
he
know
doesn't mention her once. It's
the
like
fact
he's
that halfway
running.
you're asleep deprived probably makes it more intense. Well, let me just ask you this.
He hasn't
Because
mentioned
I'm
her
going to leave
once.
here in a couple minutes and go on your business. When you look around
It's like
this
he's
room here,
running.
you just look at each other.
It is.
This is the way America is supposed to work. Without regard to race, or gender, or age, or ability or disability, or orientation, or whatever the heck else is dividing us. Place. Place is important. We cannot have another 8 years when all the prosperity goes to people who are living in places that are already prosperous. We have got to bring America together. Until America works the way this crowd looks, we don't have work to do. So I will say to you, this has been an amazing campaign. I have never seen 2 candidates do so much, excite so many, fight so hard. And let me tell you, for all of you that thinks it's been a little edgy, I've been there for 30 years. It's been a pretty good campaign. You stand up and have your arguments. Stand up and have your differences. Stand up, yeah, and if you're far Hillary, that'll tickle me. That's it. In the end, you just remember why we went to all this trouble. We went to all this trouble because we went from 22.7 million jobs to 5 million. Because we went from family incomes going up $7,500 a year after inflation across all racial and regional lines to family incomes going down $1,000 after inflation from the day I left office. Because we went from moving almost 8 million people from poverty up in the middle class to having 5 million people fall from the middle class into poverty. Because we went from being a nation respected around the world to a country that a lot of people don't trust anymore because we said we want one set of rules for us and another set for everybody else. And it's rough. Don't you forget that. Look at what we've said to the world. I mean, here we are in this state, the fastest growing state in the country, I think, where you know how connected we are to the rest of the world. You name me one problem we could solve all by ourselves. Not terrorism. 95% of the people who've been arrested, both since 9/11 and before, when I was there, for planning terrorist attacks on America, were arrested by somebody else in some other country because of cooperation between law